everyone, welcome back to Wildwood Cottage and welcome back to Wales. It's lovely to have you here. Hope you're all well. I did try to get a video out to you on Sunday, but I realised when I was editing the video I didn't have an ending, so I decided not to put it up. So you just have to bear with me. I'm still trying to get my brain back in gear, still trying to get back to normal. And yeah, it's just taken me a bit longer to get my oomph back. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about my wartime challenge for 2025, where I'm trying to live on war rations and use my wartime cookbooks. I'm also doing a wartime garden. I'm trying to use wartime gardening books as well to grow vegetables and to grow food. Now, I've been looking at the internet over the weekend and some alarming news is coming out here in the UK, and part of that is the sustainable farming scheme that they were trying to get up and running to replace the farmers' subsidies, which are finishing this year. I think it's in April they finish. Was supposed to replace that, and it's not going ahead, and the farmers are going to have their subsidies stopped here in the UK, so that's quite alarming. There's also rumours as well that food prices are going to go up more than double here this year in the UK, and part of that is to do with President Trump and his tariffs on things going in and out of America. The European Union is also looking at doing tariffs. China's also looking at doing tariffs. Spain's been having some awful weather, so tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and things like that are all starting to go up massively in price. I was listening to one guy today, some farmer today, and he was saying that a box of peppers that greengrocers would buy and put in their store has gone up £5 in the last week. So things are going to start going up in price. So I've been thinking about it for a long time, and with my health and everything, I've just not got round to doing my vegetable seeds. But it's March, it's a good time to start growing now. I would recommend that if you can grow, if you've got window boxes, if you've got containers, if you've got a small patch of garden, get yourself a nice little patch of ground, start growing some seeds, buy a few plants. The garden centres and the supermarkets are starting to get their plants in. The other day in Lidl I saw 6 tomato plants for £1.99. I missed out on them. When I got to them, looked like someone had been pricking out one of the plants out of each of the pots, so there was only 5 in each pot, so I decided not to buy them. I wanted a pack of 6. They also had some cabbages and some cauliflowers, and I think they had kale as well, but I'm hoping to do a lot of that myself. So I am looking out for tomato plants because it's a bit difficult here getting them growing from seed, because we have such a cold climate here. I find that things don't tend to grow, and I'm trying to reduce my electricity consumption and not use the propagators. So I've decided, for the price £1.99 for 6, I may as well buy them and save myself the hassle. I am going to have a go at growing these ones though, which I got off my mum, and I'm going to sow them in their pots and pop them by the stove and see if I can grow them that way. But these are Sun Baby, and I love the orange tomatoes, so I've decided to have a go of them. I've also got some carrots, which I showed you in my little clip at the beginning. I've got beetroot as well. And I've got these packs of multi-seeds that I buy in Home Bargain for 99p. And they've got a good variety of seeds in them. This one's got radish, spring onion, leaf mix, cucumber, tomato, rocket cress and lettuce. It says over 800 seeds. Now for 99p, that's great. If you've only got a small space and you just want to do a few seeds, they're ideal. The other packet that I've got is from the same place, 99p, and this one's got courgette, onion, Brussels sprouts, carrots, broccoli, beetroot, cabbage and turnip. So I'm going to do all of them, and that's going to be a good head start with new seeds, fresh seeds, because a lot of my seeds are old. A lot of them I've had a lot of frustration with them that I bought new last year, and they just didn't germinate. Now, you know my bugbear about seeds not germinating, and I think I'm just going to do these ones, get a head start, get things growing, and then I'm going to have a go of some of the ones that are from last year. If I get something, it's a bonus. If I don't, then I've lost nothing, other than the compost that I've used that I can reuse again. So you've seen this book before. and I'm going to use this as my guide of what I'm going to sow for March. I know I'm a bit behind, I'm halfway through the month of March, but I don't think it matters. So I'm going to have a look at this today and see what we can sow, because it's a month by month guide. I have shown it in my one of my previous videos. I think it was the last one. Pop it in the I button and a link in the description bar for you. But it just gives you a month by month guide of what to sow. So that's what I'm going to look at today. It says it's time to sow tomatoes, French beans, courgettes, basil, cucumbers, melons, rocket, lettuce, salad leaves, kohlrabi, spinach, peppers and aubergines. Now, I can't grow aubergines here. I've tried many times and they just don't grow. I think it's the climate here. I think that it's just far too damp. Sorry, I tried growing them last year and they just did nothing. I get a flower, the flower rots off and I don't get any fruit. So I'm not going to waste the space in my polytunnel. I have got a 4 metre by 3 metre polytunnel, which is approximately 15 foot by 10 foot, I think. Don't quote me on it, but it's roughly that. And yeah, I want to maximise my growing space. So I have shown you in a previous video what my plans are for my polytunnel. I'm also going to take you outside and show you what my plans are for that end of the polytunnel outside, and also show you my vegetable garden, which needs tidying up, needs sorting out. I've done nothing with not being well. I've done nothing in my fruit cage, nothing in the Dig for Victory garden. I have got raspberries that need mulching. I've got another bed that I want to take out. So I'm going to show you and let you have a little look around. I've also got a recipe coming up in this video, and that's going to be for homemade wraps, and I'm making them with smoked tofu in a spicy sauce. So I'm going to put that recipe in this video as well. The other book that I've bought recently is this one. It's called The Self-Sufficiency Garden and it's by Hugh Richards. Now, I've mentioned him before. He's a lovely young man. I think he's 27 or 28. He's got his own channel here on YouTube, something like 700,000 subscribers or something. I'll pop a link in the description bar below. And this lady here, he's been working with on doing a small vegetable garden. So it's really worth having a look at his channel. But this book here, it says Feed Your Family and Save Money. Now, this is a fabulous book. It talks to you about quantities that you need to sow for a family of 4. And it is a really good book. It's a really good book. It's a really nice book. It came out at $15.99, I think. No, $16.99. And I got it for £7.50 on Amazon. It was reduced for some reason. And I just picked it up and thought, you know what, at that price, I wanted it when it was $16.99. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy it. So I did. It talks to you about bottling, preserving. There's some recipes in there, some salads. It talks about the Hungry Gap. It talks to you about second season, polytunnel, into hoop beds, borders, hoop beds again, hotbeds. It's got everything in there. Talks to you about the different things you can sow in the different months. So again, it's a month by month guide. And in March, let's have a little look at March. I'm not going to show you too much, but it does show you how to build a hoop bed, how to build a hotbed. Also talks to you how to grow food, start your seeds with a hotbed, how to site and purchase a polytunnel, which is very useful, a potting bench and how to build a potting bench, watering stations. It's got so much information in this book. For £7.50 it is a fabulous buy, so I highly recommend it if you can find it on Amazon. If you can find a link, I'll pop it in the description bar for you. But it says here, let's have a look, March. Talks to you about what you can sow in the polytunnel in your hoop bed. It's giving you a garden plan here, and then it gives you information here on what you can sow on each part. It also talks to you about looking after your rhubarb, Jerusalem artichokes. So yeah, it's a great book. If you can get hold of it, do. It talks to you about how many seeds to sow, as I've said, for your family. And what crop yield that will give you to be self-sufficient. So if that's your plan, which is my plan, this will be an ideal book for you. So they're my recommendations. I've also picked up, as I always pick up, sorry for knocking you, just moving myself around because I'm running out of space as usual. I'm cluttered. I'm cluttered. I do too much in this polytunnel, you know, and I end up cluttered. So let me just put them down. I've moved you as well. You're looking at my shelf. Anyway, anyhow, I've bought these again. I buy them in Lidl. It contains Lollo Rosso, Lollo Biondo and oak leaf lettuce, 2 red and a green, £1.29, and they come with a root ball on them. So all I do is I divide them up, plonk them in the soil, water them in, and I'm going to have my own lettuce starting now. And all I do is I just harvest the outside leaves, keep them watered so they don't bolt. They should be all right in this weather here because it's not hot, it's not sunny. It has been sunny but not hot. So as long as you keep them watered, they won't bolt. And this plant, just this one alone, should see you through most of the spring. And I just keep replacing them. I'll get another one in a couple of weeks, another one in a couple of weeks, and they'll just see me right through the summer. And for £1.29, it's a lovely lettuce. It's a lovely flavour. And yeah, you can start growing straight away and get food tonight to take into having your tea or for having your homemade wraps that I'm going to show you in this video. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to bore you showing me sowing seeds, but I might put a bit of video footage in the next video for you so you can see what I actually did sow. So we're just going to go outside the polytunnel. I'm just going to show you this end of the polytunnel quickly and what my plans are there. Show you the veg garden that way and what my plans are in there, and then we'll go in the kitchen and we'll finish off with making our homemade wraps, and it'll be tofu, which you could replace with chicken, and spicy curry sauce on it, marinade, and lettuce and a wrap. So yeah, it's a lovely, nice, light meal. I'm going to have one for my lunch, so I just thought I'd make it for you and let you have a look as well. So I'll see you outside in a sec once I've sorted myself out, and we'll have a look in the garden. So I'll see you in a minute. So what I was thinking of doing was using this fence here as the line and using this soil here and just moving some of it so it's over there. And then that's going to stop my polytunnel moving down the hill that way, because it has had a bit of movement in it because the soil's moving. So I think doing this covered greenhouse is going to make it a lot better. It is a dump at the moment because the wind had a field day. When we had those red alert storms, it had a field day. We lost the top off the beech tree just here. We lost the top completely. The rest of it seems to be alive, but it's got no middle. So they'll probably end up taking that down. Looks like we've lost a branch over there as well, I've just noticed, off those yew trees. Not yew trees, I think they're, I don't know what they are. If anyone can tell me what they are, please do tell me. Not sure if they're cypress trees, but yeah, they're lovely trees. Anyway, getting back to the garden. I've got a screen that's going to go up along this fence. I bought a 6-foot screen, like the one in the sound barrier up the back. So that's going to go along the fence here and along the fence here, and that's going to distract the dog from the cows. All this black stuff's going to come off, and it's going to make it a bit more private. So what I'm going to do is, as I say, I'm going to move this soil here, and that's going to go down there and level that off. And then in this patch here is where I'm going to put the extra greenhouse, because we get so much rain here. I'm just wasting my time trying to grow everything outside, and I would like to be able to have food all year round. So I have started along this wall here on the other side of the polytunnel, putting fruit trees in. And I'm going to carry on doing that. I'm going to put fruit bushes in, like black currants and red currants and things like that. And we do have wildlife that lives in the wall. We have salamanders in there. We have mice that live in there, voles that live in there. Should be okay. So yeah, that's my thinking with that. I'm going to take all this trellis stuff off because it's just an eyesore and it's broken and the wind knocked it all off. So I bought a 10-metre long screen. I've got one to go around the oil tank and one to go along here. So that's my plan for that. As you can see, I've got loads of fence posts. I've got fence posts here. I've, I've got fence posts there. This is my herb bed along here. This is Angelica, and this is coming back lovely this year. I've got some fennel. I've also got some thyme, another fennel and mustard and things like that along here. So I'm going to leave that. I've also got my perennial sweet pea. I've got clematis, So yeah, there's quite a bit growing in here. So yeah, that's my plan for here. I think that's what's going to happen here. So I just thought I'd come and I'd show you that. Sounds like the chickens have made their way down to the polytunnel. Yes, they have. There we are. My 3 little girls having a fine time. I've also put this little pond in as well because we had some very exciting news over the weekend. Last weekend I found a newt in the pond, in the other pond, and I was so excited. It was quite big. It was about this big. It's about 4 inches big, so I was really pleased. This is little Grace, by the way. So I put this little pond in here and I thought maybe it'll attract some wildlife things. It's got marsh marigolds in it and it has got a little water lily in it as well and some mint. So I think it might attract some wildlife, but I just like water. I like water around the place. And also, I don't know whether I said in my last video, these are my tubs of asparagus. I found loads. I found about 15 and they've all got nice little roots on them. So yeah, I've popped them there, repotted them, put some new compost on them. And yeah, I'm just really, really pleased about that. So that's that. Thought I'd share that with you. So this mess here is the other part of my vegetable garden, what I'm calling my victory garden. It's a mess, it's a tip. I need to get the artichokes out and replant them. I thought the rats had had them all. Yeah, so I need to get all this grass out. But first thing I want to do is sort out that fruit cage, put the fence up all the way down here, and try and fence it off and put a gate up for the dog. A gate's go in there and a gate's go in there. So that'll sort all that out. These are the fence posts I've got for doing my victory garden, where I've just shown you the willopini or willopini. I've also got a few more up the top of the garden. So that's what I'm going to use them for. I've also got loads of scrap wood. I always have loads of scrap wood because I'm always scrounging it. These branches here are off the hornbeam tree and I'm making trellis out of them. On this field fence here, I'm just making trellis out of tree branches. I've got loads of branches up the top of the garden and I just think that'll be really nice. And then I can plant climbers on that. I'm going to move these shrubs out and I'm going to put climbers. And that again is just going to distract the dog's attention from the field, from when the lambs come, because I'll be here in the next couple of weeks. This is my raspberry bed that I did a while ago. It needs mulching. I've got loads of bark, so I'm going to put that on. Needs a bit of all that grass taken out. And I have strawberries to go around the edge, and then I'm going to fence that off. This is another bed. I may do some more raspberries, but I may move that and put that somewhere else. Maybe pop that in the other part of the victory garden. These are all my fruit bushes. And again, this is going to be fenced off for the dog. The wind saw off my fruit cage, and all the netting blew off and all the branches snapped. So I've decided to do away with it. And I'm just going to take my chances with the birds. We do get a lot of nesting birds here. And I just have to take my chances and see if I can get to the fruit first. But they're all coming back. We've got lovely shoots on, lovely fat buds from where the fruit's going to come. And yeah, it just generally needs a good tidy up. As I say, I've got chip bark out the front and the chip bark's just going to go on the soil and sort all that out. Here's Grace. Thought you might like to say hello. You've not seen her for a while, have you? Say hello, Grace. Hello, everybody. She's very happy she's out. Right, let's have a look at the camellias, shall we, and see what's going on with the camellias that I divided up. I nearly forgot to show you. Just a sec. Right, so these are all the camellias. And I've got white ones. And I've got this beautiful red, and it has the most amazing flower on it. So yeah, I've managed to get loads of cuttings. These are the orchid flower that I showed you the other day. I've got 4 of those now, all nicely divided up, and that's the flower. So I've got 4 of them now. And yeah, I've got my white camellias. These are the white ones, and then I've got the red. So I've managed to get out of it all. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 cuttings. I've planted the 3 originals and I've also planted 3 other of the cuttings that I got out of it. So that's 10, 13, that's 16 plants. Oh, he's just turned the fan off. Yay, that's 16 plants. So I'm really pleased, really pleased. I also found these. These are my Russian vine. Not Russian vine, Russian kale. And yeah, I found them in the floor when I was sorting out the polytunnel beds. So the chickens are having a good time with all that soil. And Grace is having a drink out the pond. She looks a bit frazzled. Back to the kitchen. It's just a quick recipe today for you, just to show you how to make wraps out of some leftover pastry. I'm going to be showing you rolling out the pastry, and then we are going to make the wraps as well. I'm going to make them with tofu and pop a little bit of spinach with it, and or a bit of salad with it if I've got it, and just make a nice meal. I might put some grated carrot in, some grated sweet potato if I don't have the spinach, but I know I do have some kale, so I think I'm going to make up a kale salad with that and pop that in the wrap and see where we go from there. Bit of flour. That's how much pastry I've got. Now, the beauty of this is you can roll it out really, really paper thin. And the thinner the better, because they do bulk up. So it's always, I think I'm always going to have pastry now in the fridge. Now I know that the oil keeps it fresh for longer. And then you can just go to it. I mean, that's been there since last week. There you go. Look how thin that is. Very thin. So what you can do now, stretch it into shape. If it tears, just stick it back like that. And then what you'll do is you'll pop that in a dry frying pan. Wait till it bubbles on one side, flip it over, let it bubble on the other side, and then it's done. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to cook, and you can fill it with salad, chicken, eggs, fish, whatever you desire, and it makes a nice alternative to a sandwich. Now, I love these wraps. I think they're so versatile, so frugal. I mean, you're talking pennies. I can get a bag of plain flour in the supermarket for 69p. And as you've seen, I've made Lord Walton pie last week. I've made wraps twice already, and I've got another one for my lunch now today. And I've made 6 mince pies. So a little bit of flour, some water, and some olive oil or butter. I think I'm always going to use olive oil now. I use this one. It is expensive, but you don't use a lot. And you could just use a tablespoon and the rest water. You can also use eggs. I do use eggs in my flour a lot, but the olive oil has kept this flour fresh for a week. So if you want to make pastry in advance, I suppose that's a really good way of doing it, and really frugal as well, because you can make a batch at the beginning of the week, and then you can make different things. You can make pies to take to work. You could make a pie for your tea. You can make a fruit pie. You can make wraps to take wraps to work with you. So it's a really, really versatile, frugal recipe to make. And yeah, really cheap. So, right, so we've roughly chopped our tofu. I'm using the frying pan that my husband used for his fried egg at the weekend. I try not to wash things out, as I don't want to wash the flavour away down the drain. And this is just a good use of your butter ration if you're trying to stick to a wartime ration. And just save it in the pan and use it again and again. Until it's gone. I'm using the smoked tofu. It's about £2.75 a packet when it's full price. And we're just going to add some curry powder to that. And we're not going to add any oil because this butter is going to melt down, and that's going to be sufficient for our recipe. Right, so our pan's on the stove and the butter's already started melting. So what I'm going to do is add a bit of curry spice. And I'm just going to add a spoon of water for the curry spice, maybe 2 or 3. It makes a bit of a curry sauce, and I'm just going to go and get a plastic spoon while that starts to heat up. Now, to boost my immune system, because it's winter, I'm going to add a bit of garlic, and I use this garlic in a jar. 1 teaspoon is roughly 1 clove, so a little goes a long way. And I think these jars are about £1 in Lidl, something like that. And you get 190 grams. So you get quite a lot. And I'm also going to put in a bit of tomato paste. I don't like a lot of tomato because it's very acid. So I'm probably just going to put that much in. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And that's it. That's all that's going in. Right, we'll mix all that in. Get into a nice little type of curry paste. As you can see, I'm not using a lot of ingredients, just leftovers. Cost me pennies so far. I mean, you could probably get away with less tofu, make it even cheaper. Buy a cheaper tofu. I just prefer the smoked. And I could probably get 2 wraps out of this, so I might save some for tomorrow. Right, I'm just going to leave that to cook, and then we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that's starting to cook down nicely. I reckon I'll get 2 out of that. There's probably enough there for 2. You don't want a lot. You don't want to overpower it. And I'm going to put some soft cheese in as well. Just instead of mayonnaise, because I can't have mayonnaise because of the rapeseed oil. So I think a bit of soft cheese spread on the wrap, and then the salad, and then this, and that'll be really, really tasty. Right, so I'm going to put my filling in here, and I'm going to pop it in the oven just to keep it warm, because I want it nice and warm. There we go. So that's just going to go in the oven. There you go. You could do this with eggs as well if you wanted. And that's just going to keep warm in there. Now, I'm not going to add anything to my pan. Here's my wrap. That's just going in there. Now keep your piece of greaseproof paper and I roll it up and pop it back in the cupboard, and that gets used again and again and again until it's past its best. So we can keep that and keep reusing it. Another frugal tip for you. I never wash my rolling pin either. But as you can see, it's starting to cook. So we're just waiting for that to cook. I'll leave it in real time and you can see how quick it is to cook them. That's starting to cook nicely. Now what you could do if you wanted to is you could pop your kale mix in the oven as well, which I think I'll do. Just to soften the kale a little bit and let it cook. Now you can see that's moving now on the frying pan, so it's definitely cooking. See? Yeah. Right, so we're just going to leave that for 2 or 3 minutes and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next part. You can see this is starting to bubble up now nicely. So that means it's cooking on the inside as well. So yeah, if you can avoid using chemical laden foods, then this is a good frugal alternative. It's going to cost you pennies to make because you can get away with using probably 1/4 of a cup of flour, a bit of oil, say a tablespoonful of oil, mix all that together and then add your water till it comes together into a ball of pastry. Pop it in the fridge and then just use it as you want. You probably get 2 out of a half cup of pastry, half cup of flour, but a little bit goes a long way. So that's doing nicely. I'm just going to turn it back over again just to make sure that the other side is cooked properly. But that's looking good. I'll put my kettle back on and get a nice cup of tea. Okay, so here's our wrap, all nicely cooked. So that's going to go in there. And what I've got here is some reduced fat soft cheese from Lidl. It is vegetarian. And it was about 85p a packet. And look at that, doesn't that look delicious? So I'm going to pop a bit of cheese on one side. There we go. I'm going to pop some of my salad. In fact, my salad will do 2 days, to be honest. just put half in. And, oh, ow, that was hot. I'm just going to put half of my tofu mix in as well. And the other half is going to do tomorrow. So all in all, for 4 days worth, the tofu is £2.75. That's 75p roughly for the tofu. And pennies for my salad, literally pennies. And pennies for my cheese. Pennies for my wrap. So you're probably looking £1. And how much would that cost you if you went out? So probably a little bit overcooked. I've overcooked it, never mind. But you get the idea. You wrap it up. And there's my wrap for my lunch. There you go. That's my lunch. So, right, darling. Right, so I think that's it for me for today. As you can see, Stripe is demanding my attention. Stripe is demanding my attention. A farmer's been around with his dogs and he's a bit skew-whiff. He always gets a bit skew-whiff when the dog's been around. He's got 3. But we try to keep them away from each other because they're a bit Bash Street kids. They're a bit streetwise. Stripey. Anyhow, I'll put him down just a sec. Yeah, I think that's it for me for today. I'm going to get going. I hope you enjoyed the wraps. And in the next video, we're going to go into the bit of garden behind me here. I'm going to put some plastic, I think, on the bit in front of you. Gordon's, just a sec. Stripe, out. Sorry, the bit that was Gordon's garden, where the artichokes are. I'm going to put plastic on that for the time being, and hopefully that'll dampen down everything that's on the soil, and then I can just go in and scrape it off. Because I want to concentrate on this bit here and get the willowpinny up, because I've got some plastic I can use for the time being until I can afford to get the polytunnel plastic. But I think that's going to be a good thing to get done once the screen's up, because the screen's going to go up today as well. So yeah, I think that's it. Off. Sorry, don't work with animals and kids, they say, don't they? Anyway, for the last time, I'm going to get going before he causes any more trouble, and I'll see you in the next video. I think I might do another recipe in the next video. Tonight I'm thinking of making chilli to go with baked potato, so I might do a chilli recipe, but I'll see, because you all know how to make a chilli, don't you? It's a veggie chilli. Just a sec. Oh. You're sniffing me as alias. There to come in another video. Anyway, I'm going. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. If you do like my videos, even though they're so chaotic, do like and subscribe. Do hit that bell. That'll tell you when I upload new videos. And if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or stripe a bone, then I do have a KOFI link in the description bar below, and we very much appreciate it. So I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again on Sunday. Take care. Bye for now. Bye bye.